Well, good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. Monday, July 29th, 2024. And as always, I'm out walking my little dog. Neil is his name. I've had a couple of people actually ask me what his name is. I can't actually show you him because this video camera is on face track, so it won't allow me to show you. But he's a little English bulldog that we've got as a rescue dog. We're not quite sure how old he is. He's about 5 or 6, I think, but we've had him for about 4 or 5 months now, and he's a good little fella. You might be able to sort of see him in the background there. There he is. Little Neil. Yep, you've got to keep an eye on him. But firstly, thanks to everyone yesterday for the comments and everything that was on my video about my Olympic experience. And it's fair to say that I've got a lot of people out there that agree with me as far as what I said about the opening ceremony, and quite rightly so with the Christians out there. I still cannot believe that you're allowed in this day and age to ridicule a religion. And as I said yesterday, I'm sure there would have been absolutely hell to pay if it had been certain other religions. But anyway, that's the world we live in, isn't it? But a couple of things going on in the last couple of days. The first one, I suppose, was Joyce getting beaten by Derek Chisora. Well, I've got to say, I didn't see that one coming. I think, according to the script, that was very much supposed to be a Joyce knockout victory. Welcome back, Joe. Let's see if we can get you back into the mix of things. But as I said, I did not see that coming. It was a great fight, by the way. Derek Chisora, look, he's always been a bit of a journeyman. He's had a few good wins over the way, but I will say to Derek, about Derek, what a opponent he's been over the years. Like, he hasn't beaten that many or if any of the real top guys, but I think he's fought Fury 3 times. He's fought, I think, Joshua a couple of times. He's fought Usyk. He's, of course, now fought Joyce. He's fought Derek White a couple of times. I mean, this guy's been in with some serious heavyweight fighters out there. So look, I suppose it's a case of you hang in there and eventually one day you get that elusive win. But it was, yeah, as I said, it's a big win for, well, it's probably more, not so much the big win for him because he's getting towards the end of his career, but the loss, what it does to Joyce. I mean, it's pretty much effectively career over. This is a silver medalist at the Olympic Games, by the way, and this was just not meant to happen. I know he's come off the 2 knockout losses to Zhang, and early in his career had the losses to the loss to Usyk as well. But yeah, I'm not sure where he goes now. So I would, as I said, I just think effectively that is career over. I'm not quite sure how old he is, but he's definitely had a few opportunities out there, and I think it just shows. Look, it's a real good example of just because you're a good amateur doesn't mean you're going to be a good pro. Has had the win over Dubois as well, so maybe that gives him a little bit of hope. Dubois is probably a classic example of the type of fighter that, again, you hang in there, even though he's a young guy, he's only 25 or 26, I think, but had a couple of losses, one to Joyce and obviously Usyk as well, and now finds himself in a heavyweight title fight against Anthony Joshua. I'm not going to say the heavyweight title, I'm going to say a heavyweight title, because of course it's a vacant title, and neither one of those guys, in my opinion, have done enough to even remotely call themselves the heavyweight champion. This is Joshua I'm talking about. So yep, so we'll see what happens with Joyce, but a long way back now if he decides to go on at all. The other one on the weekend, look, I must admit I didn't take a hell of a lot of notice of it. It didn't go that long, so I'll watch it. It was the Clarissa Shields fight. She won the heavyweight title over the Canadian. One thing, first of all, that really struck me as odd is that the Canadian girl, and I can't remember her name, I'm sorry, but she was the defending, I think it was WBC heavyweight champion. Well, she looks smaller than Clarissa Shields, who fights at 168. So I did a bit of research, and apparently the weight limit for heavyweight in the women's is only 175, I think, which is probably where most sort of, I suppose, even the biggest type of women sort of stop at about 175. It's about 80 kilos in kilograms. So, but she got that elusive knockout, Clarissa Shields. There's probably just a couple of things though when it comes to Clarissa Shields. She's big on calling herself the GWOAT, which is the greatest woman of all time. I would probably dispute that. I think she's just in a division, or has been in divisions, where there is just nothing. Don't get me wrong, she can fight. She's a very, very good female fighter, but I think she talks better than she fights, to be honest. Talking about fighting male fighters and elite male fighters, I just think sometimes you've got to stay in your lane. But credit to her, you know, she's been undisputed. She's now gone up to heavyweight, even though the opponent probably left a lot to be desired. But it's hard to rate her, because there's been like some other great fighters in the lower divisions that have had plenty of big fights and plenty of other elite fighters to fight. And I'm talking about, you know, the Katie Taylors and the Amanda Serranos and Sinisia Estrada. I mean, these are quality women, and probably have had that advantage over Clarissa, in that they have had quality opponents to face. And apart from Savannah Marshall, I don't think Clarissa's actually had really anyone that you could really say is legitimate world class. So good luck to her. I'm sure she trains just as hard as the men. She will probably love it if she did have those types of fighters to prove herself against, but unfortunately she hasn't and doesn't at the moment. What does she do now? She's now the heavyweight champion of the world, so I'm sure that'll give her a few more things to beat her chest about. But yeah, it's as I said, it's a bit of a shame she's got no one else to fight, but she did get that knockout. And it wasn't a bad one either. It was a bang, 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 see you later job, so I thought it was good. This is probably more what we want to see, but again, not quite sure where she goes from here. The other one I wanted to talk about was the No Limit card, and I meant to talk about this the other day. As usual, the pay-per-views are getting a bit of flack. The Nikita Tszyu, Colin Mazudia card. Michael Zarafa is fighting Tommy Brown. I think I've covered Michael enough over the last few days. It's created a lot of comments and I won't say backlash, but back chat. A lot of people wanting to have their say, and I will say about 99% of them have been in agreement with me, but there has been a couple that have said that maybe I should get my facts right. But anyway, that's why you do. When you put these videos out, you know, you open yourself up to people having a reply, and that's cool. Yeah, so he's fighting Tommy Brown. But the one fight that has been added to the card, which I think brings a lot of relevance to the event and to the price of the event, and that's the Connor Wallace and Jerome Pampalone fight. I think it's a great fight, probably the best light heavyweight fight, probably arguably with Paul Alcuso in there as well, but this is probably the best fight of, you know, in this region, I suppose. Australia versus New Zealand. You know, maybe not so much in the world scene, but it's a really, really good fight. Pampalone, of course, was beaten in his last fight by Zinad. A bit of an upset there, and Connor Wallace is just on fire at the moment. I think he's coming off that I think it was a 6th round knockout of Jack Gibb. So I like the fight, and really I understand it's not on the level of, you know, the fights that we pay for the international fights. I get that, but look, if it's $60 or $70, whatever it is, I'm not. And this is without other fights being added, by the way. I don't mind the card as it stands at the moment. I think Nikita and Cohen, I know as a standalone, it's not a pay-per-view quality type of fight. But again, I'll say, No Limit and Main Event have to put on X amount of pay-per-views per year. So this fits the bill. But I think Michael Zarafa on Tommy Brown on the undercard does have even though I think it's a rubbish fight, it does have a bit of relevance. If Michael looks good, we could have the Nikita fight either next or maybe one after that. He brings a bit of or a lot of eyeballs to the event. He's just one of those type of fighters, and even though the opponent, I think, leaves a lot to be desired. And look, let's give Tommy Brown his props. He's experienced guy, so who knows, he might actually wind the clock back a little bit, although I highly doubt it. I think it's going to be an easy knockout win to Michael, or at least a shutout decision. The fact that they've added Connor Wallace and Jerome Pampalone to this card, I think, adds a lot of cred to it, and I will have no issues whatsoever forking out the $60 or $70 to watch it. So I did see the other day, and I'm not sure it's been confirmed, but I think Jessie Parr might be on the card as well. I think she did the press conference the other day at the gym. So, yeah, so that will be good to see her. I think she's a great little fighter, and I'd love to see her in with someone like a Taylor Robertson at some stage. This is a domestic level type of fighter, and then who knows? I really like her self-belief. She backs herself. I think she said something like, "This is her destiny," and she doesn't doubt for 1 second that she'll be a big player in this division. So I like it. I really like it. She's obviously from that Muay Thai background, by the way. Her dad, of course, was John Wayne Parr, and those guys and girls don't muck around. They'll fight anyone. For them, it's not about wins and losses. It's about legacy and honour and respect and all that sort of stuff. So I like the fact that she's actually brought that to boxing, and she's a little excitement machine, so I like it. And that's probably a fight I would like to see here at domestic level, as her and Taylor Robinson. So we'll see if No Limit and I think Taylor's with Ace Boxing now, I think, with the Premier Boxing Series. Let's hope they can sit down and have a coffee or a beer or whatever and work that fight out for maybe a future card. The other one on the weekend, just quickly, was Manny Pacquiao. Not sure whether you've seen it. He did a exhibition against a Japanese fighter. I didn't like it. It was only a 3-rounder, but geez, he wore some punishment. Look, he's been out of the ring for a long time. He's 45 years of age. The Japanese guy was like 6 foot tall and was he a kickboxing champion or something like that anyway? But yeah, so it was always going to be tough for Manny. What is he, about 5'6", 5'7"? So look, but I didn't like the fact that he did wear a few punches. He looked slow. He looked he looked nothing like the fighter that we're all used to. And there has been talk that maybe he'll fight Mario Barrios for the WBC belt. And one, it shouldn't be sanctioned no matter who you are. If you've been out the ring for 3 or 4 years, you shouldn't just come back and get an automatic title shot. Not that there's much else in the welterweight division, but yeah, I didn't like to see Manny back, and I would maybe hope he would reconsider, although it doesn't look like that will be the case. So let's hope those around him maybe say, Manny, we love you. We don't want to see you really getting towed up by young fighters and really harming his legacy. I think no matter what happens, we'll always love Manny and respect him, and one of the greatest fighters of all time. But yeah, again, I don't think anyone wants to see that. And just lastly, on the Olympics, now I've got the schedule here. I think we're in action tonight. Let's just see. Hang on, I did have it up here. All right, so I think there's 3 fighters in action tonight. I think again I've gone over the theatrics of the Olympics already. But so we've got the first one in is Tyler McDonald. She's fighting Maria Jose Palacios Espinoza. Try and say that 3 times fast. I think she's from Spain. So that's the 60 kilo women's fight. Now that's that's tonight at 7:30 p.m. This is Monday, 29th of July I'm talking about. So yeah, 7:30 tonight. Then we have Harry Garside, one of our main hopes at the weight. He's fighting at 8:20 tonight. He's fighting Richard Kovacs of Hungary. And then at 12:50 a.m. So tomorrow, just after, 12:50, Tuesday morning, he's fighting Dmitrio Lovchinsky, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Ukraine. That's Teramona, sorry, I didn't say his name. So he's the big heavyweight. So, so all the best to those guys and girls that are in action tonight. And we'll go over the results every day and have a bit of a chat about the fights anyway. But that's it for Walking Boxing today. Have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow.